We all want to feel lovable and loved by the people we have relationships with. But narcissists don't love people the way we expect love to be. Narcissists view people as things that serve them. They kind of view their significant other the same way. I love my phone in the sense that I take it everywhere I go, right? And it helps me with a lot of stuff, and I appreciate its existence because of what it does for me, but the second my phone breaks. I mean, it's purely conditional. My love with my phone is conditional love once it breaks. I'm gonna wind up getting another one, and that's not gonna hurt me or bother me to do that. Unfortunately, malignant narcissists view people in that same sense. So, somebody that's striving to feel love from somebody that's incapable of giving it, is only setting themselves up to be hurt, to have their self-esteem eroded over and over again. We talked about the 5 things that people chase. We kind of explained. I'm hoping I explained why narcissists can never give that to you, but now, I want to focus on how you can get it, and it may not be from the source that you're hoping, but you can get it and it will change your life. I used to hear years ago about, your external world is always a reflection of how you feel about yourself. It's always a reflection of your beliefs. And years ago, I didn't really give it a lot of thought. I didn't believe it or not believe it. It was just like something I would hear. It wasn't until I was on my own healing journey and I really looked at my life that I could literally say, wow. Everything that I experienced was a reflection of how I felt about myself. I didn't see myself. I didn't appreciate myself. I didn't love myself. I didn't know what self-love was. I didn't respect my boundaries. I didn't even know what a boundary was. I didn't hear myself right. Because we all have that voice inside, but I would either minimize it or think that no, that could be wrong. I didn't trust it, and so what happened? I wound up in relationships with people that reflected back to me what I wasn't even giving myself. I wound up with people that didn't, whether they were friends or different family members, or even work relationships. With people that didn't see, hear, respect, value, or love me either. And as a recovering codependent, I did what every codependent did. I strove to get it externally because as a child that's how we learned. That was part of my upbringing was, I had to get it outside of self, and so as I grew up that became the template of all of my relationships. And it wasn't until I changed how I viewed myself that everything completely changed. So, I want to talk about some really simple ways that you can start getting this from self even if you're still in a relationship with a narcissist. So, for example, being seen and appreciated. I say this a lot to my clients that they come to me saying, I do this, and she never sees it. And I ask them, do you see it? Do you ever give yourself credit for what you do? And I've met some amazing men that do so much for their family and never feel appreciated, and because they're so focused on the fact that they're not appreciated, they don't even see or feel good about what they're doing because their focus is always on what they're not getting. And when they change their focus, and they start seeing and appreciating themselves, no, it doesn't change the narcissist, but it does change how they feel inside. For example, a dad that gets up early because his wife refuses to get up early to get the kids ready for school. Rather than staring at what she's not doing, which is stealing the joy and the time he's having with his kids. Changes the mentality to, wow, I'm so glad that I have the time in the morning to be here for my kids. I'm so glad, look how happy they are. This is like a special time that I could have with them. I'm a good dad. I'm so proud of myself. That's fueling that desire to be seen, but you're doing it from within. Rather than chasing to be seen as if it's by the narcissist, who seems to be like the jockey with the carrot on the stick. You're giving it to yourself, so not only do you feel empowered, but you'll enjoy the things you're doing. If you don't view it that way, and you're staring at what this person isn't giving you no matter how hard you try to get it, you're not even going to be able to enjoy what you are doing. As far as hearing yourself right, the toxic person doesn't hear you. Are you connected to self? Do you listen to what your inner self needs? For example, sometimes our inner self says, I'm too tired to do that, I don't really want to do that. I've done so much, I want to say no, but we shut that voice up. Why? Because we want to do it, because maybe the narcissist will appreciate it, maybe they'll be happy with us, and it never happens. So, if you want other people to hear you, you have to hear you, and if your inner self says I need to say no, you need to listen and respect it even if it makes somebody else disappointed or upset. People are allowed to be disappointed and upset in life, but you need to honor yourself. When it comes to valuing yourself as well. How you see you. Starting to notice the things about you that you wish the narcissist noticed about you. You start valuing them. Whenever I talk about this, I always think of when I'm out to eat, and my husband does this to me all the time. He'll be like, if he tastes something that he doesn't like, or that's like completely disgusting, he's like, oh my God, this is so gross, try it, and I'm always like, no thanks, I have no desire to try that. When it comes to self-value in a way, we're almost like, I don't have value, I don't like myself, will you like me? Will you try me? And that energy just attracts narcissists. We attracts like that's coming from a shame-based identity, and guess what, narcissists have a shame-based identity, and it's like a magnetic attraction. So, start seeing your value and recognize that it's not dependent on whether the other person sees it or not, and the last thing is when it comes to love. We all want and deserve to be loved in the relationships we're in, but the reality is that we need to have self-love. I bet if I asked you to give me a list of everything you do to try to prove to the narcissist that you love them, and that you get to the relationship because it's important to you, I bet you could come up with a ton of things that you do, that go unnoticed by the other person. And if I asked you make me a list of everything you do for yourself that shows you, that you value you, that you love you, I bet it's like hitting a dead end and just a blank screen goes across your mind, and it's because when you're so externally focused, you don't even realize how little you do for yourself. But when you exercise self-love, you raise your value because guess what, the narcissist sees you like this, but sometimes we stay here because we see ourselves like this, and self-love raises our value, and it helps us to feel enough, it helps us to feel just as good as the next person. It helps us to feel that we're allowed to take up space just like the next person, we're allowed to be ourselves, just like anyone else is allowed to be themselves, and you start allowing yourself to do that by giving yourself the self-love that you need. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If there is anything that needs to be discussed, write in the comments column below.